Do you want the Vietnam sketchbook tour? Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm gonna be going through my travel sketchbook that I kept during my 2-week trip to Vietnam. So this was a trip with just me and my mate Tim. We went from the 1st of November to the 16th of November. This was the flight. As you can see, I watched The Materialist. Hot take, I really liked it, but also I don't think I really captured their likeness here. It's kind of like if you were drawing Dakota and Pedro from memory. But yeah, we started our trip in Hanoi. We were staying in an Airbnb that was so cute in the old town. It was like 3 floors. This is like a really quick rendition of what it looked like. And then this was our first meal. By the time we went out, it was like midnight. Like, I was starving. And then we saw this random rave going on, but it was ending because it was midnight. And then the first thing I noticed was, like, on all the streets there are these tiny Vietnam and communist flags hanging, and it's so pretty. And then we tried Vina milk, and yeah, it was so yum. I love flavored milk, even though I am lactose intolerant and I shouldn't be drinking it. This was our official first day. Went to the famous Note Cafe. That's me and Tim. I tried an egg hot choc for the first time, and guys, it was so gaggy. It tastes just like a creme brulee. And we left notes, and then went to St. Joseph's Cathedral, and then went to a few markets. I got a zine, and then these 2 people were like, oh my god, I love your hachiwari. Maybe I'll also pop in a pic of that. And then we had more drinks. I got an egg matcha. So good, guys. The eggs really gagged. And then went to eat chicken pho, which I've never had because usually here we just eat beef pho. But it was super clear. I was like, wait, this would gag if I was sick right now. Like, it's so like comforting. Tried on some glasses that were too expensive, and then went to the Temple of Literature to be #performative. And then went to this really cool glasses store called Back to Astroworld, and then I got these really cool glasses, and they were like 30 bucks AUD. And there was also a cute cat in the store. And then did more shopping. Went to this compound called Raw Compound. Yeah, I compound on your mum till she raw. Yeah. And then me and Tim got cool phone cases from a local brand called Alda. And then oh my god, so before the trip I had these pants that I really wanted, or these shorts, and they were like #1 on the priority list. And then the first clothing store we hit up, I see her and I had to get her. Europe, good purchase. And then at night we went to the restaurant where Obama and Anthony Bourdain had their bun cha, and it was so gag, guys. I love bun cha. And then the next day Tim was so keen on renting our yais, and I was a bit iffy, but then I was like, you know what, let's do it. So these were our fits. Also, everyone is #skinny girl. The first outfit I tried on, the back would not zip up. Like, I'm just big backed. Hung out at a cafe and just watched people. I love people watching. We went to this it wasn't a vintage photo booth, but it kind of had that vibe. Hey, POV, your parents during the Vietnam War. And then went to Kolkat, which is like a souvenir chain, and it's just based on cats. That's where I got this banh mi cat. I have a tuxedo cat, and yay. And then we had a banh mi after, and then the lady at the store was like, can I take a picture of you guys to post on the internet? And we were like, yeah, sure. But we don't know where she posted it. Most likely Facebook, but I don't have Facebook, so I don't know. But she just said the internet. And then we went to the Pottery Museum, which was a trek, but the outside, like the architecture, was super cool. This was like the outside. And then after, we were struggling, so we had to go get a head spa, and there was a baddie who was the receptionist, and I'm in love with her, and shout out to you, Diva. And then we went to Hanoi Train Street, where there was a tiny kitten, and let's just say she took all the attention away from the trains. I was like, I had a gaff, I want to look at this tiny kitten. But no, it was really cool. And then after, we went to this restaurant and just ate. Like, all the food was so good. Next day we went back to Train Street because we wanted to see it in the morning, but the train just didn't come. And then I went to get my hair re-bleached because the roots were really grown out. Yay. And then we had pizza for peas, which was like one of Tim's big Moscows, and it was good, but I think I'm just like never gagging for pizza, like I'm never craving it. So but it was good. And then I went to Better, the shoe store, and I got a pair of loafers and tabbies. Yay! And then I had my first motorcycle ride of the trip, and I was scared, but it was fine. It was so fun. And then at night we went to this giant shopping center and we saw an exhibit, and then we went to this like little gallery place that was low-key like Team Labs in Japan, but it was so quiet. So me and Tim have like every room to ourselves, which was great. And then we were just like walking around the department store, and it's just so fun being in a department store in Asia because they have like everything, including I fear Italian brain rot. The next day we went to Ninh for a day trip. So the bus picked us up from Hanoi and then drove us to a restaurant where we could bike, and then we biked to this like, I don't know, a palace kind of thing. We biked to Hoaloo, ancient capital, which was like a very historical place, and then we learned a bit about Vietnamese history and stuff. And then we went on a 2-hour boat trip, which I don't know, it was really fun, but it was so like peaceful that I was falling asleep. And then to stay awake I had to like play this imaginary game where I was like, okay guys, we have to overtake the other boats. It was only me and Tim in on the game. Everyone else was just chilling. And then our last stop was Mua Cave, which was like a really big hike where we hiked to the top of the mountain. There were so many stairs, and then you could choose to go left to see like this big dragon on top of the mountain, or right, which is this pagoda. We went left, and then from the peak of the dragon we could also see the pagoda, which was cool. And then we got home, and then I tried bonnet for the first time. Life-changing, like, oh, so good. And then after we had chair, and this combo, wow, dare I say best meal in Vietnam so far. The next day we had our Ha Long Bay cruise. This was our view while waiting for the cruise to come to pick us up. And then immediately we got treated to a meal, and then we went to a cave, which was similar to the Ninh boat ride. This time like the boats were kind of bigger. There were like maybe 5-6 people per boat. And then after this we got back, and by this time it was like sunset, so we were just like doing whatever. Went to the jacuzzi, which no one else was at the jacuzzi, so I had it to myself, which was great. And then there were like little treats, and we learned how to roll our own spring rolls. Dinner was cool. We chatted to like the people near us who were all from Australia, but we were all from different cities, and there was a British diva celebrating her birthday, Queen. And then the next day we woke up at 6 a.m. to do Tai Chi, which was fun. And then we went kayaking, and mama, it was so tiring. It was giving year 8 camp, but let's just say Tim carried, and I was there for moral support mostly. And then when we got back we were just like chilling, waiting to go back on land. And then when we got back on land, Tim wanted to gym, so I was like, okay, it's time to take a chill pill. And I went to this cute cafe and just like sat there and updated this sketchbook because I was lagging very behind. This was another view of the inside. And then I went to Pho 10 for a beef pho, and like the line was quite long, but we didn't have to wait long because it also moved really fast. And then we had flan, and basically this was the night where we were supposed to go to the Ha Giang Loop, so we were just killing time basically. Tim got a coffee, and then we went to get like another Vina milk. You'll see more and more flavors unlock as the sketchbook progresses. And then our bus came, and we were on a sleeper bus. This is what like the interior looked like. I couldn't fully stretch my legs, but that was fine. It was like really fun, low-key. And then the sleeper bus took us to a hotel, and it was like 3 a.m, so we slept for like maybe 3 hours, got up, and then our day 1 of the Ha Giang Loop began. So basically the Ha Giang Loop is a 4-day, or you can do less, motorcycle loop in the Ha Giang Mountains. So we were in groups of 8, and we each had a driver, and it was just us, a backpack strapped to the back of the bike, and then 4 days of being in the mountains. The first day was so beautiful because it was sunny, the wind was like blowing through your hair. It was like being on a beach and lying in a hammock. And then basically our first stop was a waterfall, and it was crazy because the rocks were so slippery, and I was just focusing on not slipping. And then I suddenly got like impaled by this big stick, and then I was like, oh whatever, because I still wanted to swim, so I kept going. And then I was like, wait, I should tell Tim. And then I turned around and he got impaled. It was very Looney Tunes vibes. halfway through the day it started raining a bit, so they brought us like ponchos, and then we went to our first comm, which was just like very standard little rooms. And then I realized I got a cut from the stick impaling. And then at night we all ate at somewhere with all the other tour groups, and then the drivers introduced us to happy water, which was some sort of rice wine, I think, but we were just taking shots after shots after shots. And karaoke is a big thing, so we did karaoke, and me and Tim, we gagged. Let's just say we gagged. This was the next day, and then we overheard someone on the other table being like, there was this Asian girl and Asian guy who did Anaconda Nicki Minaj. I think they're from LA. And then last night, literally before we started, Tim was like, any Aussies here? But maybe this aged badly because of the magnification of Nicki, perhaps. But we lost the queen, guys. We don't stand anymore, I fear. Anyway, we went to another waterfall, but this time it was raining. So we were just like in our ponchos and rain boots. We looked like little astronauts. And then after we went to a boat ride, there were some crazy views, guys. But it was also super foggy, which was sad. And then at night we stopped by this little town, and it was like beautiful, very small town but cozy vibes. And then the next day it was still raining like crazy, but we got to the, sorry, I don't know how to say this, Long Ku flag tower, where we just climbed to the very top and saw a big flag. We couldn't really see the surrounding view though because it was just so foggy. So part of the itinerary was to go see the China border, but it was so foggy that we couldn't. And then some local was like, oh, you can go this other way. And then we went through this wedding, which was really cool, a wedding of the Hmong people, but no, there was no Chinese border to be seen, but that's okay. And then at night our comm were these like little huts by this village, which was really cutie. And then next to the huts there were like bathhouses, but no one went to bath except me and Tim. It was run by like this cute family, and they just had like little rooms where there were just 2 bathtubs, so we just took a bath. And there was a cute little pug that one of our tour friends had called Barrel. It was very chill. Like, we just played a ton of games with our drivers because it was our last night, so everyone was super drunk. We danced around the bonfire because there was a bonfire, and we just like got to know everyone more. Love everyone in our tour group, they were so chill. And then on the last day we said goodbye to Barrel, and then we went on this hike, and then there was another viewpoint, and there was a stamp, which was really cool. And then to make up for not being able to swim in the water for the second day, we got taken to a creek. At first I was like, oh, I don't want to swim because I still had my cut from the first day, but then I was like, you know what, fuck it, it's the last day, when else am I gonna be in the Hajang mountains? And it was fine, but I should have known better because there was like a rope thing where everyone was like Tarzaning into the water, and I was like, oh, I just won't do that because like it's giving dangerous boots. But I couldn't resist, I did it, and then my hand slipped, and then like I fell on a rock. Well, no, I fell in the water, but one of my fingers, my middle finger in fact, hit a rock, and then it just swelled up immediately, and I was like, fuck, another injury. So stupid. Anyway, we got back. Oh yeah, that was the end of our trip. Yay, they gave us a little thing. And then we went back on the sleeper bus. We actually planned to just stay at a little capsule in the airport for a bit, but then we got there really early, so we booked a hotel really last minute, and then we ate some pho, and then on to Ho Chi Minh City. Also, new Vina milk flavor unlocked. So when we landed, we went to this restaurant called Bet Me In, and this was so delicious. And then after we went shopping vibes. I had my eye on this brand called The Idiot, and they had really cool like asymmetrical shirts that were kind of giving like neo-Chinese style, which I was after, but they didn't have any in store. And then instead I got this other really cool shirt where the detail was like the buttons were wavy. And then we went to get another massage because mama, I was sore. And I may have gotten baited by this shop where all the reviews just had like these 3 cats in little bowls, and maybe I wasn't baited because it was a really good experience. And then after, I was craving bonnet. I was like, let's have bonnet. I know we want to try everything, but let's have bonnet. So we just split 1 serving, which was not enough, but that's okay because we had pepper shaken beef with, I think, tomato rice because the rice was red. And then we did more shopping. There's just a lot of cool Vietnamese designers. I got this postcard that I have framed with the zine that I got earlier in Hanoi. I put a picture up. And then I got these socks. Me and Tim got matching boxes, and then we ended the day having matcha. That place was really cool because it was literally just an apartment block, and I think there were residential areas, but a lot of the building was just taken up by like individual brands and shops, which was super cool. Next day, we went to Roomish in the morning. I got these 2 rings that are connected and they were so epic. And then we had to go to Book Street to look performative. We found Michelle Obama's book, and then we had our glasses on. So, you know, always time to be #performative. And then went to the other Roomish, which was underground. And that one had like so many cool installations. It was kind of like a museum mixed with a clothing store. And it was so cool. We just stumbled upon like a lot of landmarks that we didn't mean to, like the Ho Chi Minh statue and then the pink church, and then went to just eat more because we love eating. And then I was sweaty boots because every day it was so hot, so I split up with Tim and went to get my hair washed. And then we met up again at night where we went to do more shopping at Mosaic Space. There's so many like cool stores. Their streetwear game is like crazy, guys. And then we ended the night eating hutu, and for some reason my stomach was crazy. Like she was not happy, not from the hutu, but like that whole night, like from the beginning of shopping, it was acting up. But it was fine because the next day is a brand new day, and we went to Man Moi and we got way too much. Like this, especially this was like meant for maybe 3 or 4 people. Also, after we like ordered all this, our waitress was like, okay, that's enough, and we were like, ooh, okay, my bad. But she was right, it was enough. It was too much. We were stuffed. After we split up, because I wanted to go to the War Memorial Museum, but Tim's already gone, so we split up. And then my friend Steph was also in Ho Chi Minh City at the same time, so I went to hang out with her. We went to this souvenir store called Oak Wow. It was amazing. Love supporting local artists. After, went to cafes. We were talking a lot about life, about employment. Sorry, trigger warning, employment, full-time work. And then Steph wanted to go to this thrift store that upcycled secondhand clothing called Only 11. And it was so cool because I was really looking for neo-Chinese style clothing because Mama hasn't been to China in a few years, and I wanted some like cool clothing. And yeah, they specialize in like this kind of, I don't know what you would call it. They called it like Shanghai style garments. But it was really cool. This was from a store that we would go to later, where each floor had a stamp that was of a different color, and then you could, you know, make a picture. Not that mine came out that well, but yes. Oh, so colorful. And then at night we went to eat, and then we stumbled upon so many like cute stationery stores, and I got this washi tape, and here I was swatching it. And they're just so cutie vibes because even in the envelope that they gave me, they like full on made a little scene with stickers. This was like what they put on the envelope. And yeah, I had been invited to a work friend's birthday party earlier, and she loves journaling, so I also picked up some stuff for her. And then went to more stores, and there was this really cute store that had like a Hello Kitty collab pop-up, and they know how to make cute mirrors. We saw mirrors everywhere, and they were all so cute. Like everywhere was an op for a photo op. This was our last day in Vietnam. We started by going to banh mi Huyen Hoa, which is really famous. I feel like all the banh mi's, they taste so good, but they're also just really different from what we have here in Australia. And then we split up again. I wanted to see like more local contemporary galleries, so I went to Gallery Medium, and there was like an exhibition on, and then another space that had a bunch of collections from different places, which was really cool. And then if you're outside, you stand there for like 1 second and you just start sweating. So I took a lot of cafe breaks. I had some spaces that I had written down I wanted to check out, like Jellyfish Saigon, which is this cool jewelry store. But also just walking around, there's so much that you can see and so many cool things. And then another cafe break, and by this time I was all shopped out, so I was like, you know, I'll stay here for like an hour and then meet up with Tim for dinner. And for dinner we had seafood noodles, and I wasn't expecting to like it that much because seafood is very hit or miss for me, but I loved it. It was so delicious, guys. Like the flavors, ooh, too good. And then yeah, we went to the airport, and that concludes our trip, guys. Oh my god. And these were some extras, but yeah, it was so fun. Vietnam was so fun, and I highly rec. And thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't already, I have a few other sketchbook tours. I did Japan earlier this year solo, and then last year I did Europe with Tim, so check that out. Otherwise, bye!